I really need to stop procrastinating these videos. So recently we got that Xbox Game Showcase for this summer, and yeah, it had good announcements, and Fable looks pretty neat, and that Starfield watch looks neat. Okay, being real with you guys, I really don't care about Xbox games.
Except for this beauty I'll play with you real soon.
But there was one reason I wanted to tune in live for this live stream. It's because Atlus, one of my favorite game developers in recent years, was going to show new stuff, and definitely not because of poor internet. The company leaked a couple of trailers that made the surprise really be diminished for the showcase. What? That's ridiculous! And yep, we got a couple of new Persona things coming soon, and one of those beauties was Persona 5 Tactica. Well, this is a new Tactics RPG Persona 5 spin-off. I mean, yeah, it looks really cool. I really like this new chibi art style reminiscent of Persona Q2. The gameplay definitely looks fun as hell. That new opening song sounds incredible. I mean, it's sung by Lynn. Any song sung by her is an instant banger as always. This new character L seems to have a really cool design, and I'm looking forward to seeing what role she and her group plays in all of this. And holy shit, is that Nanjo? I'm really happy that Atlus fans will indeed have a true Persona Cross Fire Emblem game of some kind, and I'm definitely looking out to playing this side spin-off, and I really hope the story is something really well memorable, and hopefully they don't get their memory erased. But in all honesty, as much as I love Persona 5 and its supplemental material, this wasn't like the most exciting game they announced in June 11, 2023. That special, honorable, and beautiful specimen of an announcement goes to Naked Butt Ichiban. The worst kept secret game announcement of all time.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Well, we're finally at this moment, and honestly, this is a title I've been waiting for a very long time, ever since I became a Persona fan since 2016. A modernized Persona 3 remake, now known as Persona 3 Reload. And I'm really excited for this title. The whole journey and speculation of this title has been brought up in recent times, from the discovery of data resembling the Iwatodai Dome in the data of Persona 5, to that one leak of a small clip of a remade model of Yukari during an attack animation in high-resolution graphics, and of course, the classic maneuver of Atlus copyrighting a website domain that can indicate a possible new product. And ignoring the obvious accidental Instagram link shadow in the room, almost everyone has become surprised and excited for this new remake, as I am too, with this new version of the highly regarded 2006 JRPG experience finally coming in early 2024 on all modern platforms. And taking into account the existence of previous Persona ports, I guess it would be wise to explain why am I looking forward to this remake specifically, especially when a viable version of Persona 3 has been recently being ported to modern platforms, and like, isn't it obvious? Now, I've been playing Persona 3 Portable on my Switch throughout this year, and as much as I have been enjoying this particular version of the game, being my first experience of P3 as a whole, it definitely felt like a lackluster and less impactful rendition of this very dark, fruitful, and immersive game. While I do personally enjoy the visual novel presentation and the female protagonist campaign is a really cool addition even for its time, it definitely doesn't showcase the best presentation of the story set in Tatsumi Port Island, with its lack of animated cutscenes, some scenes that kinda get lost in translation, losing some of the emotional impact, especially with the lack of models used during in-engine cutscenes, and with this recent port kinda making the bare minimum low effort in making an HD version of Portable with some not well executed AI upscale backgrounds and also lack of improvements towards certain systems of the game. And seriously, you're gonna tell me that this is good enough? And even if I haven't played that specific version yet, Persona 3 FES also has its own share of problems. The biggest one of them, in my personal opinion, the lack of a controllable party aside of the main character. If you personally like the system, I don't want to ruin it for you. I'm happy you can enjoy it. But it definitely is not my cup of tea, because I prefer to always take control of what skills to do during battles. Not to mention, the dungeon crawling of Tartarus could really need a new revamp and execution. Just a little tweaking, you know, to make the experience just less monotone and repetitive, you know? It's a little messed up. But I'm happy to announce that in my perspective, I'm really joyful with the stuff shown in this new trailer and the info they have been sharing with us. This new game has been built up from the ground up in Unreal Engine, and the new graphics and character models look really impressive, and it's been confirmed that this game will have not only revamped in-engine cutscenes, but new animated cutscenes with new and arranged music. I will admit, it will take a while to get used to this new style of cutscenes compared to the unique stylization of the PS2 cutscenes that they originally had, but this looks to be on par with the look of the Persona 3 movies, so I don't think they will look out of place. And of course, very looking forward to this new opening movie. And of course, the new music. I always look forward to new Lotus Juice music, and this trailer showcased such a good taste to look forward to.
Not free, but I kept trying. Not strong enough, but I kept going. With all the hardship around, knowing that if I don't fight, I'll forever be moaning with pain. If I give up.
And I know the art style and the look of the game won't win everybody because these fans are super nitpicky, like, oh my god, calm the hell down, this game is a work in progress. But I'm honestly happy with how it looks so far, and I'm so excited to see how the rest of the cast is going to look on this new version. As for the new stuff, some of the developers have recently sat down for interviews confirming a couple of new things that we can expect for this remake. One of these additions is side stories, and according to the director Takuya Yamaguchi, it will serve as an additional game element with the purpose of delving into more of the characters who didn't get as much attention or development compared to how they were in the original game, which is honestly a very good sign because I can confirm some of these characters could definitely benefit for a better development for this remake. Heck, I even think we even got a good glimpse of how they will be, as we see a scene of the protagonist making dinner with Yukari, which, by the way, wasn't part of her social link in any way, and they also confirmed that these side stories will be something separate and supplemental to the original social links. And as we can identify this part of the trailer, it looks like we will still have the same social links that we had in the original P3, as we have the Magician Arcana social link Kenji Tomochika having ramen with our character, almost the same as the original rank 1 of his link. God, why are you still here? One hope I have with the social links is that not necessarily rewrite them per se, but definitely expand more on the running and events of it, because while playing 3 Portable, I feel like these events were too short for their own good. And I get it, it was the first Persona game using social links, so they might not have the same standards as 4 and 5, but who knows, we might see improvements, especially when it comes to the links with the girl characters. If you know, you know. And yeah, it will be disappointing not having once again the social links with the male main characters, kinda like what they did with FEMC, but that's what it is, I guess. But the biggest change we can totally expect in this remake is the revamp of Tartarus, and based on the small clips from the trailers, it definitely is looking that it will definitely be expanded out. No longer does it look as claustrophobic, and now its floor is now more wide and spacious, with the promise that, and I quote, have added more elements for the players to explore to keep them from getting bored, as well as adding the option to dash while moving. Look at that. There's a dash button. This dungeon crawling will be sexy for real now. Also, yeah, it's the same old Arcana Shadows, which means no demon negotiation. But you know what that means? Shovel time, baby! My favorite, yes! And we also got a good look at the battle UI, and I'm personally happy they're taking the base design that worked with Persona 5 while still having the flair of P3. Here we see a piece of a moon image splitting out to reveal the battle menu with its respective bottom props with a solo animation of a revolver cylinder. Sure, some people are disappointed that the menu feels more minimalistic than the original battle UI, I can understand, but with this, I feel it's necessary that the flow of battle and player input get the best execution possible. After all, the main goal of this remake is to enhance further the player experience of this classic RPG, and thank God, a 3D Persona 3 version where you can actually control the party indefinitely. I just don't trust AI, okay? I'm gonna have ChatGPT write the script of this video, but no, that's because I care about my creativity. Thank you. Also, look at the new main menu. This looks so sleek, it's unbelievable. Why are people complaining about this? So this is pretty good, right? Tartarus is getting better, characters will have more moments to shine, better UI. This remake is shaping out to be great, right? I mean, seriously, what could possibly go wrong? Well, crap, for every new great gaming announcement, there always has to be a pinch of controversy to make people distrust what developers do. And let me tell you, I haven't seen this much of a change of heart of the public regarding the excitement of a game ever since the National Desk removal incident from Pokemon Sword and Shield. And to be honest, yeah, this is a bit of a disappointment. To better explain what's going on, one of the reasons people desperately and collectively wanted a Persona 3 remake to begin with is because of the desire of getting a definitive version of all the content that has been seen throughout the current versions of P3. In this case, with the exclusive content of Persona 3 FES and the quality of life improvements of 3 Portable, including specifically the female protagonist campaign. And yeah, not including the specific content that these 2 versions have for this remake, based only on the original P3 release, is hugely a large missed opportunity. But What's my take on it? Well, after doing research on the topic, I can definitely confirm that the two main things that won't be on Reload, at least at launch, will be the lack of the Answer Epilogue campaign from FES and the female protagonist campaign from Portable. Which means the good news is that most likely the additions that FES added to the main Journey campaign will be on Reload. More specifically, hopefully, the Aeon Arcana Socially with a highly popular character Aegis and the day request from Elizabeth, as well as a bunch of these goofy trash. I at least hope those elements stay in this remake. If not, I will be highly disappointed than before. When it comes to the lack of the answer, I still haven't personally played it, but here's my take on it. From what I gathered, this is a very debatable piece of content, with gameplay that has not aged the best and lacks a lot of the quality of life improvements that the Journey campaign had. The story that epilogue does carry a lot of importance to the narrative, but it still makes me wonder if Atlus is actually trying to not make it part of the canon by not including it anymore. I have heard from many Atlus fans that the answer does include moments where characters had their development ruined or had ruined the themes that P3 was establishing with its main story. I cannot personally judge it yet, but I personally don't mind too much if it's not included, but if it does get included in some form of DLC, I do hope based on the opinions of others that they improve drastically the gameplay and most importantly, revamp their writing to tell this epilogue in the most sensible way possible. And when it comes to the female protagonist route, this is definitely a huge missed opportunity because from my experience, this is not just a reskin. This version of the Journey campaign feels like its own different adventure with different dialogue options and in my opinion, some of the best written exclusive social links that it had, and it's really unfortunate it won't be included in Reload for no reason. But yeah, I guess that's the true main reason why Persona 3 Portable of all versions was ported to all modern platforms when this remake was in development during all this time. And I wouldn't mind that much if only Atlus did more than the bare minimum when remastering that game, because holy shit, please fix the skill inheritance mechanic of Persona Fusions in Reload. It's so frustrating and time consuming just redoing the Persona selections over and over again to luckily get the skills I want to inherit. Mother of Lord! Anywho, the other controversy that has been going around is that the voice actors will be recasted for Reload in the English language. I understand that the old voice actors and their performances are really iconic and pretty nostalgic for all the players who grew up with Persona 3. I will miss some of the old voice actors like Michelle Ruff and Tara Platt, but to be honest, I'm anticipating seeing these new performances, considering that those will be new blood for the franchise with really great previous works to justify it. Maybe I'm too forgiving because I have huge respect for the crap voice actors go through and do their best to give out their best shot for the role they're given, or maybe it's because I'm not too nostalgic to these previous actors. No offense, please. And I'm also expecting a really good localization and an improved script for this remake. Just please, don't let this line die.
This is a tough case, even for Junpei Iori, ace detective.
Ace detective? More like Stupe ace defective.
You are hilarious.
Hey.
So overall, this remake looks incredible so far, and I'm very looking forward to trying out this new modernized version of this highly acclaimed JRPG that has probably one of the best stories of the franchise, only being limited by some of the flawed design choices that plagued the original release. And even though the Persona or SMT fandom is so ridiculously nitpicky, biased, and sometimes even hypocritical that sometimes even harass people for not enjoying games as how they want, and then make me so angry that I feel I'm going to get Akuma's at one point and wish to erase them from existence, it won't affect my having enjoyment whatsoever. If they're able to pull out this remake by enhancing the player user experience to the best standards while still being loyal to the themes, style, and flair of the original, we could probably be seeing one of the best entries of the Persona series to date, on par with Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5 Royal. It looks like we won't be waiting too long for news, as they confirmed that on every full moon day we will get a new piece of news related to Reload all the way to its eventual release in 2024. That's really cute of you guys. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the main cast as well as the further changes and additions they have added to the game. So yeah, that's pretty much all I could get. Ese maldito tren! ¿Por qué no se calla? Phew, apologies for that. Like I was saying, that's pretty much all I could gather from this small trailer. So far, this game has been confirmed for all modern platforms except the Nintendo Switch. If it doesn't come to that system, it's not the end of the world for me. I might as well just buy a PS5 or that precious Steam Deck. I heard great things about it, it looks pretty nifty. But before I go, one question still remains unanswered. Does this mean this is now my most anticipated game for 2024? No, you silly moron, because in that same Xbox presentation, Atlus just decided to just ratio itself and rebuild after many years Project ReFantazio, now called Metaphor ReFantazio, and holy crap, it looks amazing! This is probably one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen for a modern game. The fantasy concept and world building looks really interesting, and it seems to take some gameplay aspects from Shin Megami and Persona, but still trying to do its own unique thing. I've been waiting for years for Atlus to create a huge new RPG IP, and this is looking not to disappoint. Yeah, I might as well just get that Steam Deck, am I right? Okay, that's it. For real this time. Finito. If you'll excuse me, I'll just continue playing Persona 3 Portable before Reload comes out. Looking forward to telling you all my final thoughts on it on my 2023 game ranking list. The 2022 game ranking video is still coming, guys. I've just been really busy, okay? I'll see you all from the backside of the TV. Cheers, everybody.